freezing. We'll see what happens after the sun sets. Snowfall, at least additional snow. This could be winding down now. This may be the additional snow that's already fallen. Not really expecting too much more here, but none accumulating. As we said, mainly liquid in Atlanta, and now we're continuing to see all that snowfall move into the Queen City of Charlotte. Still maybe some mixing, but the trend will be heading toward all snow as we head through the next couple of hours. Out near Hickory points to the east and also to the north through the Triad and the Triangle. Watching that snow coming down, and some areas pick up heavy snow. Some folks double-digit snow. Stay tuned.
When you're hungry for the craveable taste of tender fish and shrimp, nothing's better than Long John Silver's. Now, for a limited time, enjoy
your small business? Go to ondeck.com and find out. There's no obligation, and you can receive a decision in minutes. Visit us online at ondeck.com today.
We want to give you the latest right now on Winter Storm Remus across parts of the southeast. Good evening, I'm Carl Parker, and we are watching a pretty prolific snowstorm for parts of the south. We've had as much as nearly a foot of snow in Alabama, quite a bit of snow across parts of Tennessee, northern Georgia, and it's now coming into North Carolina in Gwynn in Alabama. That's north and west of Birmingham, pretty close to the Mississippi state line. 11 inches as of the last report, and it's still snowing there, albeit winding down. Hackleburg coming in with 9 inches of snow. Tupelo, the third greatest 24-hour snowfall, 6.8, and Adairsville, Georgia, 4 inches of snow. And some pretty healthy snowfall across the far northern exurbs of the Atlanta metro, but that rain-snow line made its way up. This storm has really been dominated by a warm flow coming off the Gulf of Mexico. Now, that does a couple of things. One is that it injects a lot of moisture into the system, so where you are getting snow, you get a lot of it, but it also pushes that warmer air northward and changes areas over from snow to a mixture of sleet and freezing rain and eventually rain. And that's exactly what happened in the Atlanta metro area earlier today. So it came really close to having a huge impact in Atlanta. And as it turned out, there are going to be some northern counties that have gotten some snow, but for the most part, the snow has been well to the north in North Georgia. Snow again continuing in parts of Alabama right now, across Tennessee. This is the very last part of this storm. This is associated with the upper low. This is going to swing through in the next couple of hours, and after that happens, it's going to be over with. So some additional snowfall from that part of the storm, maybe an inch or two for the most part, not a whole lot. But this is where that axis of greater moisture is driving up into North Carolina, and so it's going to be right across northeast North Carolina and southern parts of Virginia where we see very heavy snow. It will last through tonight and then into tomorrow morning as well. This is the high-resolution model forecast. So notice the heavier snow in those areas I just talked about. The heaviest of snow really from Raleigh right up into Norfolk, Virginia. From the Triangle and on southward, it's going to be primarily rain. There will be a bit of a transition zone, obviously, between those two. Snow is going to begin to wind down there in the southern Appalachians overnight tonight. Then we take it into tomorrow morning. There again is that warm air continuing to push up, but not making it as far as southeastern Virginia. This is 5 o'clock in the morning, and then then 7 o'clock in the morning, still seeing the snow in that same area. That is why we're talking about totals of 5 to 8 inches in a pretty large area, and then 8 to 12 right around southeastern Virginia, right around Tidewater, Virginia. That would crack the top 5 snowstorms in February in that part of the world. That's not something that we see a lot of. And then here we're looking at the snowfalls in the Greenville area, and looking at about 1 to 2 inches generally across that 85 corridor, and just some lingering snow on the back side of this system as it continues to lift up. We want to go now to Mark Thibodeau for more on what's happening with Remus.
All right, thanks a lot, Carl. And yes, we continue to see winter storm warnings as a result of Remus. Now, along and south of I-20 across northern Georgia, we to get some very heavy snow out of this, and southeast Virginia, areas that normally don't get a whole lot of heavy snow. And here's the way it looks as we see this last piece of energy moving by from Alabama into parts of northwestern Georgia, into the upstate of South Carolina and western North Carolina, and again on the way to southeastern Virginia as we head through the next 12 to 24 hours. And you notice up to the north here, this is also part of the system. This is an upper level storm that's moving down across the Midwest, and that is snow sort of indirectly related to Remus. So here's the Atlanta area. One last push of cold air moving by as the upper level storm begins to move in, changing some of that rain back over to snow briefly, as Carl was alluding to. And here's Ackworth. Still some snow going on, dense fog developing as we head towards sunrise. Could be some black ice in the Atlanta area. In fact, none. And up to the north, most of that already falling. Here's a radar out of Charlotte. You can see deep moisture moving up now from the south into the cold air up I-77. North side of Charlotte here. Likely to get some very significant snowfall and some very heavy snowfall. And so here's the forecast for Charlotte as we head through the overnight hours. Looking at light snow, but there are going to be some heavy snow bursts like we're seeing on radar as we see that Gulf of Mexico moisture moving northward into the system, changing the rain over to snow, and some very heavy snow again on the north side of town, ending towards 8-10 a.m. But obviously we could have a slushy mess on some of the roadways. A lot to clean up here, especially north of town. Raleigh, about the same thing, starting off with some heavier snow bursts and then lighter snows eventually as we head towards sunrise and beyond, before ending as we head into the afternoon hours. And obviously here we could be looking at a mess as well. Still looking at very significant snowfall additionally across eastern North Carolina. Some lighter snows still back across far north Georgia. And there's the other piece of Remus up across Illinois. Back after this. And welcome back to special coverage of Winter Storm Remus. You are looking at Winter